Our next speaker runs a platform that, following 2 big acquisitions, now connects 170,000 hotels to 60,000 intermediaries. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Executive Chairman of Hotelbeds Group, Joan Vilà. Thank you, Joan, and thank you for bringing the Mallorca weather. Is that what's going on here? Or it's always sunny for Phocuswright?
Yeah, better than in Mallorca.
This is not what I expected in Amsterdam. So we know that Phocuswright audiences are always very smart, but on this, I think, on the subject of hotel beds and bed banks, I think that we could use a little help. There's some confusion, I think, in the marketplace on the role of a player such as yourself. So could you set the stage to begin with a little clarification on the role that you play in distribution?
Okay, first of all, the bed bank is a B2B business. I think this is very important. And what we do is we connect 2 worlds that they are extremely fragmented. On one side, the hotels, if we don't take into consideration bed and breakfast, etc., some 500,000 hotels. The top 10 big groups, they only generate 30% of the revenue, so extremely fragmented. On the other side, the B2C intermediaries, travel agencies, tour operators, airlines more and more, and others. So what we do is we connect these 2 worlds. For the hotels, we help them with incremental business for very interesting segments for them at a similar cost than the leading OTAs. And for the clients, we help them with the hotel product so they can focus on their customers, which is it's the most important for them.
And why is that a role that is necessary when we have OTAs, GDSs? Why another intermediary?
Well, GDS is a business that has a transaction fee. In our case, we are a merchant business, so we influence the price of the product somehow, or we are not just transacting. The OTAs, the main difference is that is a B2C business, which has some implications. And in my opinion, there is room for everybody, because if we think about the occupancy level of the hotel business in globally is around 75, 80%, 70, depends on the region. So there is always possibilities for further collaboration with the hotels to supply with new business.
And where would you say it is that you're in this chain that you're providing the biggest amount of value? What are the use cases of stakeholders?
We are like in between, no? Hoteliers and our clients. For the clients, I think it's pretty obvious. We help them with a big range of product that is relevant for them, very competitive, so they can focus more on their clients. And also, if they want to start selling a new destination, they don't have to deploy a full team, contracting and all this. They just can get from us. With us, they also have a one-stop shop, because together with the accommodation, we have what we call the ancillary bank, all the experiences, excursions, transfers, tickets. And also, we don't compete with their brand, which is very important. And for hoteliers, I think it's a big list of things. First of all, the segments that we bring, they are very interesting for them. It's a very fragmented international business in reality, because 85% of our volume is international, only 15% domestic. The OTAs is the other way around. Globally, the OTAs is 70% domestic, 30% international. So the OTAs, in reality, they're somehow jeopardizing the domestic business of the hotel chains. A lot of our business is somehow packaged. So we have a lot of early bookings and also longer stays. We have far less cancellations than OTAs. Also, we don't compete with the hotel for the final customer. The same as we don't compete with the client. We are kind of Switzerland, no? We are neutral in the business. And then if the hotel, they want to really have this incremental business so fragmented, they don't have to deal with all these currencies, collections, all these things that is a lot of work that we do for them.
So you say you don't compete with hotels, but there have been some complaints from hoteliers or some feelings that you're creating or facilitating a gray market where they are losing visibility and control of inventory and rates that they
I think this is mainly maybe hotels that they are not using us. We always follow what we agree with them. Do you think that, for example, the big hotel groups is likely that they work with us a lot? Or what do you think?
Well, I guess the question is more...
We are growing with the 5 top big hotel groups. We are growing this year double digit.
But if that perception is out there for maybe some players who aren't working with you, obviously
then
you
they
want
have
to
to
grow.
work more with us to really test that this is not...
So it's not a problem, it's a perception issue.
There are always
it's
small
not
problems
something
with
to work
that
on.
in any commercial relationship. But I wouldn't say that this is the most important thing about us.
You mentioned, you're bringing together very fragmented hotel space and fragmented distributors, but there is consolidation happening on both sides. Is that at all a concern for your business growing?
Well, in the hotel business, still with the consolidation that we've seen, I told you before that the top big hotel groups is only 30% of the revenue. Some consolidation, I think important consolidation has happened in the OTA space, but it's not the most relevant segment for us. For us, it's much more important the travel agencies or the tour operators or airlines. And in our case, the bed bank, it was also extremely fragmented. We were the market leader, and after the deal we did with Turico and later with GTA, so we've become much more relevant, but still our market share in our segment is still small.
So that's a good, I wanted to talk a little bit about those acquisitions and the state of Hotelbeds today. So first, TUI sold you to private equity, and then you picked up GTA and Turico. This is a lot of action in a short amount of time. And of course, most recently, the destination services business went back to TUI. Where are you in terms of integrating all of these pieces?
Yes, it's true that there has been a lot of movement lately. So 2 years ago, we were acquired by 2 private equities, Simban and CPPIB. At that time, everybody recognized that the bed bank market was very fragmented and there is going to be some kind of consolidation. These 2 companies, they help us to drive this consolidation. We acquired first Turico, and then in the closing of GTA was in October last year. And we are now very focused on the integration. In the same day of the closing, we announced the executive team. It's a very international team. We have 12 people, and I always say we have 8 flags, so from 8 different nationalities. Tell me a group that has this international team. After that, we announced that we will be moving to one single platform. This we announced in December. In a couple of months ago, we announced up to 350 people reporting to the executive team. End of this year, we will move to this one single platform that we choose. And in my opinion, beginning of next year, we will be operating as a one single business again.
And the brands, keeping all of the brands?
For us, because we are a B2B business, is this last thing we really think about. For us, it's much more important to be right with the platform, with the talent, the kind of organization that we have, and this is something that we will discuss almost last moment.
Have you had a chance to grow organically since the acquisition?
Yes, we've been growing nicely this year. It's more complicated, because people is already thinking in the future organization, but you still have like the suit of the old organization, and it's more difficult the day-to-day is more complicated, but yes, we've been growing significantly.
You do have, OTA is a different business, but Expedia has made some moves, opening up their marketplace in some markets via EAN. How do you view competition with them? What's your competitive advantage?
Well, I think that EAN is a very good business, but the core of Expedia is the B2C. So It's more like a distribution channel for Expedia. I think that this is the main difference. We are completely B2B business. Our mindset, the way we were created, the way we think all day is helping our partners, hotels and clients. And I think that this drives the difference in the way we do things.
So any chance of a scenario where Hotelbeds makes a major B2C play?
No.
No.
This will not happen.
All right, and in all of that recent motion that we discussed, we sort of glossed over the most recent piece of destination services being sold back to TUI. So how did it come to be that you got out of that piece of business?
Yes, this is kind of a strange thing, no? Well, when TUI disposed us, they decided that they wanted some part of the destination services business, but not the third-party business, that it was kept as a separate business unit together with the bed bank. The disposal was the bed bank and the destination services all together, like a pack. For them, at that time, it was not strategic. For us, we knew the business, we know how to manage, has been performing these last 2 years incredibly well. Suddenly, in TUI, they changed. I think 3 things happened. Suddenly, in TUI, they changed, they did, I guess, a strategic review and realized that for them, it was again strategic. Like it was like production of content at destination was strategic. At the same time, we acquired Turico and GTA, and the bed bank was, before it was much bigger than the destination services business, but suddenly it was incredibly much bigger. So you could challenge if it was like there was a proportion, and then they came with an offer that we couldn't reject. So we accepted. The deal is signed, has not yet completed. This will happen in the next weeks.
All right, now you took with those acquisitions, you definitely created some pretty significant consolidation, but your space is still pretty fragmented.
Well, yes.
Is there what type of acquisition would make sense next? A smaller competitor versus a company that gives you some new inventory or technology? What sorts of things are?
Well, if we think about the bed bank market, this is a market that is not deeply studied, no? But we have our own numbers. We believe that we have in this market 14% market share. So there is plenty of room for growth organically, and also potentially through acquisitions. At this moment in time, our priority it's clearly the integration, because our teams they really want to be working in the new organization, in the new company, and everybody is focused on this, and it's like a priority. But of course, there is plenty of possibilities for further consolidation in the future. It's not something that we are actively looking for at the moment, but for us will be interesting other bed banks or companies that they are similar to ours, B2B, that they have good distribution in certain geographies, and also maybe some companies that from a technology point of view that can be complementary to ours.
What are some of the geographies where you feel that you could be stronger at this point?
Well, the fact is that before the acquisitions, Hotelbeds was a really very global business. But with the acquisition of Turico and GTA, we've reinforced a lot the Americas, especially North America, but the Americas in general with Turico. And with GTA, they were very strong in Asia Pacific source market and Asia Pacific destination. So now we are really well balanced. You can always be bigger anywhere. In the majority of our destinations of some market, in our specific segment, we are a market leader. But you can always gain share, because as I said before, our global market share is still limited. There is plenty of room for further growth.
The Asia Pacific market, and particularly China, are clearly the growth market right now. What are some of the challenges for you? I know that you've got a lot of inventory there, and you're working with intermediaries there, but what are some of the challenges for you in Asia-Pacific markets?
Well, for us, it's not. They are not like new markets because we in Hotelbeds we started 11 years ago. We did a small acquisition and we were suddenly present in all Asia. And we started with our business. GTA they were strong even earlier than Hotelbeds. So we have a lot of volume and we are experiencing significant growth. China is our fourth source market. We are growing a lot there. And we are growing in the region in general. This year we have very big growth, for example, in Australia, in Japan as well. And from a destination point of view, we're growing a lot in Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, for example, Japan as well. So I think we have a very good position. The challenge is that, the big is small, but it's very big at the same time, the world. I mean, and you need to have strong teams there, better if they are local and that they really understand the culture and the way of working of the different geographies.
So getting to know local markets, country by country
Yes,
yeah. Thinking about inventory, the private accommodation space is becoming a bigger and bigger share of the travel market, more than a fifth of the US hotel and lodging market now would be private accommodations. And I know that you have vacation homes on your platform, and you have for years, but it seems like a growth area, and I'm curious about do you have an interest in going deeper or bringing more of that kind of inventory onto your platforms?
Well, we have a lot of apartments or villas that that can be bookable through us. We've had this for years.
Boats, tree houses?
What we don't have is anything that is not legal. So because we have responsibility to our partners, anything that we sell, it needs to have touristic permission and all the legal requirements that any other accommodation and each legislation has. So if it fits in these parameters, for us is perfect. But this market has been growing significantly, but now we also see some signs that is reaching some level of maturity. If you see Airbnb last quarter, they announced only a 14%, 12% growth, if I remember well. So that sounds a little bit low for a so phenomenal market.
Is there demand? So is there any demand from your distribution stakeholders for more of that kind of inventory?
For example, we tried with the travel agencies, if they really wanted this product. They didn't have a big interest.
So you're in a business where so much inventory is still handled manually in some way at some point down the line, and the pricing is not particularly dynamic. Is there a roadmap for improving automation and dynamism of the inventory?
Well, you will be surprised how dynamic they are, the hoteliers. The problem with the hoteliers is that in many occasions, when they at a hotel, they maybe keep the system that they were using, and with the exception of the big hotel chains, almost the majority of hotels, they work kind of independently. This is the big issue. But the market is very dynamic, and the hotels, they are paying more and more attention to revenue management and pricing.
And so do you see an opportunity to go in and improve that process, or?
Well, now that we are putting the three companies together, we are deeply reviewing our value proposition for our partners to see areas of improving. And we are still at the early stages because we are still not working as a single company. We will be doing this end of this year, beginning of next. But I clearly see areas of improving for both, in reality, suppliers, clients, and also for us, of course.
Thinking a little bit about more leading edge technologies. So Mark just presented on digital assistants and voice. AI and blockchain are often, some of the hot ones right now to be thinking about. In particular, blockchain seems relevant and possibly disruptive to your business. How are you experimenting or researching that?
To connect these two ends, hoteliers and clients, we use technology. In reality, we are a technological company that happens to work in the travel industry. We also have plenty of people on the ground, so that we have like this dual kind of presence. For us, technology and innovation has always been in our blood, and we are always experiencing with the adoption of new technology. I think we are quite advanced in terms of the use of data, for example. We are in machine learning quite a lot. We are also, as the majority of the companies, is working in different areas of artificial intelligence. And in respect of blockchain, we've done two proof of concepts. One is how to use it in different processes in our company, and we think that there are areas that we could use it, for example, in billing, for example. And also we did the proof of concept of if we could design a bed bank completely working on blockchain, and we realized that it's possible. Are we going to do it? I don't know yet, but we will continue working on it.
Okay, and looking ahead, what's the vision for this old but new company that has taken on so much new content? What is the 3 to 5 year?
Okay. 5 is very long now.
Yeah, it is.
But if we think in the next 2-3 years, I think that we need to integrate ourselves. Because we are the market leader, we should grow much faster than the rest of the market, so we should be taking more market share. We should consolidating this market. And I think that we have these shareholders, that they are private equities. These guys, they are not with us forever. We will reach one day, maybe 2-3 years' time, that they would like to sell. I think that we are a perfect business for an IPO, for example. And there are, I think, big chances that this happen. Now is a bit early to tell because we haven't even talked about it because we are focused on the integration. But I think that this could be a nice journey.
All right, well, we're out of time, and look forward to the next few years. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Joan Vilà, Hotelbeds.